Hey guys, and welcome to another F1 2020 video. And today I have three online races as always. And the first one is going to be Canada in the wet conditions. And I'm starting P15, and as the lights go out I get an okay start. I get some wheel spin in fourth gear, but as always this is going to be carnage in turn 1. As on all tracks, Canada isn't an exception, and in the wet especially, as you can see, cars are sideways on the track. Thankfully, ghosting worked this time around, because sometimes there can be cars on the track and it wouldn't work. As I'm trying to go down the inside of the Mercedes, he tries to take me out. He cuts across, but I wasn't braking that late, as he took himself out instead. And I'm going to use lots of ERS on the straight, because in these wet conditions I'm going to, in my experience, you're going to gain a lot more ERS in throughout the lap. And I'm catching the Racing Point ahead, who is P4 in this race. So from P15, even though there was lots of cars crashing out in turn 1, I think 10 position gain is pretty good. And now let's see if I can actually gain positions on track this time around, as I get a really good run and using the overtake. Can I outbrake him? Yes, I can. I'm going to go a bit off the track, but I'm still within the track limits, just about. And as he actually gets a bit better traction out of the second corner, but I managed to stay ahead of him, as I actually tapped the wall there. Thankfully, from the looks of it, doesn't seem like I had any damage, as I actually overshoot this corner. But the guy behind still can't quite overtake me, because I had a quite good exit. And right now I'm catching the McLaren driver ahead, as I hit the wall again, and I think this time I must have got some damage on that front wing. But still I'm keeping up with the guy ahead. Yes, as you can see, a yellow front wing, but I'm still keeping up with the guy ahead, so that means I've got the pace. Thankfully it was my right front wing, or the right side of my front wing, and Canada contains mostly left corners. It's not going to affect my performance that much, as I'm right behind this guy, and I'm actually 4 tenths behind. I'm using overtake in the ridge, trying to get past him. Thankfully I managed to pull a 2.5 seconds gap to the Racing Point behind, as the first guy appears to be really fast, lapping 2 seconds faster than me. That's just a bit concerning, but I can say that I have a damaged front wing, and this guy is really holding me up. I was really much faster than him. Trust me. It was the worst feeling, because I couldn't overtake, as I actually almost ran in the back of him. But as you can see, I get an extension for that. Thankfully I didn't punt him, so I'm not a dirty driver in this case, as I'm really close to him now. I'm trying to use this overtake to my advantage, and this good traction I've got out of that corner, but I still couldn't quite overtake him, as the Racing Point actually catches up to us, because this guy was that slow. And as you can see, I'm side by side with him, but I wasn't confident with pressing the overtake button just yet, because of the traction, and that's going to give him an advantage, because he must have pressed it to have that good traction out of the hairpin, as again he loses it, but I still can't quite overtake him. As we cut to this last opportunity for me, he goes wide a bit again. Let's see if now, as he gets a bad exit and again loses the rear. So now I really have to try to push him, and again using the overtake. He must have used it in the first few laps, but I have to slow this down not to get a warning, and because I slowed down so much he ran into the back of me, and that led the Force India to overtake him. But we came in P3 as this Austrian Grand Prix starts, or Styrian GP. I was starting again from the back, but trying to go around the outside of this Force India, and rewatching it. First I thought he was trying to take me out, but then I realized they were already 3 wide going into the first corner, as someone dive bombs me, and this McLaren ahead is going to be important for the rest of the race. He's really lagging, he's all over the place, but he manages to brake later than me, courtesy of, well, using the car ahead as a brake. And as you can see over here, he's still lagging so much actually that the game goes with him. Thankfully, because otherwise it would have been impossible to get past him. As someone goes on the grass, I didn't know how you mess up this session. This was a straight. And now, as the Red Bull is lagging, and the AlphaTauri pushes him to the grass, and I actually get an illegal overtake. So the game is weird sometimes, but now I'm going to use overtake and rich mix, and he actually turns into me 2 times, and now the McLaren that was lagging, he actually just took me out. I don't know what happened, because from my point of view I didn't do anything wrong to him. I just overtook him because he was lagging, and that's going to put me down into P14, as I even get a track extend, and this guy goes to the grass and I run into the back of him. So that's going to give me a yellow front wing again. Always running with the front wing damage, as I get another track extend warning, and we catch up to the McLaren. I think he was trying to brake test me, but he messed it up because I was already alongside him. And in this one lap I managed to get taken out and lose some of my front wing and get a 2-second time penalty. So we can say that wasn't my greatest lap. I'm really down on the grid, as some guys actually pitted ahead of me in this lap 4 out of the 5, so I won't have, as the Haas actually spins out, so I don't have to overtake him now, but I still get to use DRS, because in the activation zone he was, or the detection zone, he was still ahead of me. But let's see if with this yellow front wing I can still overtake these guys, 3 of them, as again they make contact and I managed to overtake that guy. Of course he was spinning out, so that wasn't too good of an overtake. But now let's see, these guys don't seem very nice. They might spin me out too if I'm not careful. I have to make these overtakes in the straights and then pull out some unimaginable gap not to get taken out. Even with this yellow front wing I'm still catching them. as again, the guy in the Williams, well, it was, you know, a Verstappen. He did a Verstappen on the Red Bull, actually. And let's see, I outbrake the Red Bull, and round the outside I go of the Red Bull, so this is a really ironic race, but I didn't pull off the move, but he didn't take me out, so that's a good thing too. And with all this carnage, I managed to get into P7 by the end of the race, which is really good in my opinion, even though I got taken out. And yes, that's going to be it for this race. But then I had a ranked race around Spain, another 25%. And earlier in the race, it was raining, and I thought, and I was catching much faster than the guy ahead of me. And the track looked dry, but when I stopped, it really wasn't. But as you can see now on lap 13, which is I think 2 laps after I hit it, so I came like 5 seconds behind the Farmer Joe player, and lap by lap I get that gap. He opened it very much, but now this is going to pay off, because actually I think now it's going to be massive, or no, must have been earlier that the DRS was activated, but it wasn't a time where I was going through the pit lane. So as I was in the back of the grid, they couldn't have really reacted to that. At least the guys ahead of me, but the front guys, they were so much ahead, they probably could. But now from this position, I'm managing to set purple sectors, and let's see how many positions can I gain, because most of the players decided to pit too, but some of them, like Farmer Joe, didn't, as someone sadly disconnected or just left the session. So that's going to be another place for me. And here you can see the guy in the inters. He must have been struggling. Those inters must have overheated horribly, but actually he stayed out till the very end on the inters. I mean, at this point he can't do too much. Again, I'm catching someone on the soft tires, but he has a broken front wing, so he must be struggling because of that. But I was still pretty proud of my pace. I was pretty much matching the front guys, so that showed me if I was in the front after the start, I might have been able to catch up with them and then fight for the front places as I overtake someone on the intermediate tires. And I think that was my last overtake, but as you can see again, the track was improving, but it was improving slowly. And this was actually the first time I managed to take the last corner flat out, as I got the fastest lap of the race. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like it and subscribe, and I see you in the next one.